Hello everyone and welcome back to our Softacom IT series. In current episode we are going to discuss which AI solutions we can implement, examples, like if you have existing legacy application, how and what we can theoretically implement. Today we just will discuss some ideas and insights. Of course, you have your own software, commercial software. This software has its own functionality for different domains and so on and so forth. But of course, you're like a product owner or decision maker, maybe want to have some ideas how and where you can implement some AI and which benefits you will have. Because usually we are like managers, company owners, just know all this and hear all this noise about AI, and we think that yes, it's very, very important, but we have to implement it somehow. But how and where and for what purposes, I don't know. And that's why I'll try to give you a couple examples from different areas, and maybe you will take this idea or insight and we'll see or find some, I don't know, let's say, it's not like, for sure we won't have similar applications of these ideas, but maybe you will find some parallels and you will find some source of this idea and where and how to implement and which benefits you will have. Again, this video is not for the, let's say, like developers or scientists. We want to discuss any deep technical things. It's again more for top level, for product owner who understands his product. He knows products, let's say, roadmap, its future. He has to think about product's future development, and that's why maybe you will find some interesting ideas. As I said, we will take different types of AI implementations. Let's see, I hope it will be useful. In the beginning, I would like to remind you about our previous videos. I hope they are here. They are more about is it possible to implement AI solution for existing legacy software, or we have to design everything from scratch. And in these videos from previous episodes, I tried to explain you that yes, that's possible, and let's do this. As we already know, artificial intelligence is a number and list of technologies and frameworks for implementation different features and functionality. And today we will discuss these 4 domains and 4 areas from artificial intelligence of technologies and implementations. Okay, as I already said, 4 domains for AI implementation and AI solutions. Number 1, predictive analytics. Second one, image classification, data recognition, and object detection. Why these 4? Because that's my favorite ones. They are easy for understanding, easy for explaining, and more easy for implementation. And let's discuss more deeper each of this domain of for AI implementation. Number 1, predictive analytics. If we read this word, we can understand that we have to predict something. In case of artificial intelligence, it means that we already should have some data, like big data about something which we collected before, and we want to analyze automatically somehow this data and predict something in the future. Very easy. Example number 1. Imagine that we are a real estate agency and we want to predict cost of houses and apartments. We already have a huge database and history of our sales, and we want to create a model which will predict cost of some houses based on the location, number of rooms, number of floors, type of house, bricks, wood, and so on. And artificial intelligence suggest us that such technology creates some model, train this model using our history and big data, and in the end we will have a tool which will try to predict for us cost of this real estate, dependent also of the year, weather. Also it can be like for example spring, summer, fall, and so on. A lot of interesting and different applications. The second part, for example, we can also predict our sales of our internet shop. We also have a history, for example, in December, November and January we have such kind of sales. During summer, for example, sales can go down, and we can predict amount of goods in our warehouse, predict how much and how many products we have to pre-order and put to our warehouses for the future sales. It's also predictive analytics domain task, and I can provide you a lot of different examples where we can do that. Example number 2 is about detection of different spam submissions. Again, we can have different examples, like if somebody fill in some information on your website, on your form, after you scan papers and so on, we can create a system which will be also based on our previous experience, previous history, previous submissions, and the system will detect and check mark some submissions like a spam, or even we can somehow classify them, but that's a little bit different story, and we will explain a little bit further. Again, we create a model, we train this model which were on our previous data. After that, our artificial intelligence model will try to predict which submission, for example, is spam or it's not a spam. Again, the previous example number 1 and number 2, it's all about machine learning. It's a technology, like a part of artificial intelligence technologies for something which we can train based on our previous experience, and this it's called model will tell us and predict something in the future. Example number 3, it's something about prediction user behavior on some website or portal. Of course, you can have some portal or software where users can perform different actions, and we can record. Of course, we can, according to all regulations, we can record all these behaviors on your existing software, web portal, website, and after that, again, we can create some model and predict users' behaviors in the future. After some registration and after collecting some data, behavior, we can predict which goods or products this potential customer can buy. And based on this data, we can provide for him personalized information, advertisement, offers, coupons, and so on. Predictable? Predictable. And finally, example number 4 for predictive analytics. It's a little bit more for different governmental organizations, but for commercial also, but of course you have to handle private data very carefully. It's about, like an example, predict patient's future diagnosis. Because if you are a hospital or a different governmental organization and you can have access to previous history of people's in your country, in your regions, different diseases, you can predict and invest money more into prevention, your future people's prevention of these diseases. And predictive analytics can do that. At least find a points where to invest and where to predict. Because again, we should have a history from maybe anonymize it about all the people, and we can diagnose where this guy is living, I don't know, age, what else, a lot of factors. I won't mention them right now because a lot of them about private information, of course, for example, like existing diseases and existing treatments for these diseases and so on, like type of blood, parents and so on. But that's what, again, predictive analytics can do. We can again create some model which will be taught by some history and some previous data, and in the end we can predict something, what to do in the future. This really can help save lives, and I hope these 4 examples will somehow give you some food for thinking where you can implement AI solution exactly in your existing software. I hope it was helpful also. Okay, the second part of the examples are about image classifications. Not too many examples here because plus minus it's clear what are we talking about. Example number 1 is about classification of some, for example, vehicles. We imagine that we can have some camera which just make photos of different vehicles on the road, and we have to know amount of personal cars and, for example, some commercial vehicles like trucks for the retail. And again, we can do that using artificial intelligence technologies. How does it work? It means that we should have again some model, artificial intelligence like a neural network model, and we have to prepare training data set like how personal cars look like and commercial trucks look like and vehicles. And we train our model, and in the end we can put to our model real, like brand new photos and images of the transport, and model will predict for us type of this vehicle. Vehicle is just like an example. It can be a lot of different areas and domains, like from animals, products, what else? People, a lot of different areas where we can apply this technology, like train something for predict on the picture and get the result and believe or not believe. Again, artificial intelligence and a lot of models based on the principle like each model can predict your some false true or classification with some percent of probability. Of course, it's not 100%. By the way, in terms of mathematics, you will never have a 100%. Even it's like basis theory, or even if we are talking about our recurrental mathematics, maybe I'm wrong in the term. But again, example number 1. Example number 2 is something about image classification during some pre-moderation. If you have some system where some users and customers can publish some images, papers, or so on, even not only images, even some documents to some systems, you can classify these images or by some, I don't know, factors, parameters, features, and so on. Or even for adult content also, because if you have a system with like 1,100 users, it won't be able to have like 1,000 moderators which will try to detect and check all the images. It's why artificial intelligence technologies also are here. We can create again a model, prepare like some data set with rude images, like not acceptable images and so on, teach it, and after putting real images through this artificial intelligence model, we will have some pre-moderation, and model will tell us that yes, this image with some percent, some probability are wrong, and after that we can put it to in-person moderation, for example. Same thing we have with different chatbots and so on. But again, good example of image classification task in artificial intelligence. I can provide more and more examples here, but the concept I guess is clean. And you can base and create your solutions, which like, again, where is the idea? Like create a model, create training data set, teach your model, and after that, this model will try to predict and provide for you with some probability. Do we have some like person, image, object on this image, or do not have? And you can do that on your own, how to work with this information. Again, for your real existing software. Set of examples number 3 is about data recognition. If compared with image classification, it's a little bit different. It's also about machine learning and computer vision, but here is we in the end, in the like exit of our predictional model, we will have not only like yes, no, and which probability, but we also will have some data. That's the difference. And I'll tell you the truth, here we will have only one example, because this is like a major one and everything almost based on this example. And like as an example, we can build a system, and instead of, for example, reading your Excel or Word files using some old automation, we can just provide some images to our models, to our artificial intelligence software. This software will try necessary blocks, read these blocks, and get real data from these blocks, like number of invoice, some amounts, some text, put this text to our another analytics models, and perform some decisions. Same thing like people, and it's also called like RPA, robotic process automation. We can create a lot of different robots which can perform different routine operations. After they get some data, it can be scanned, like photos. What else? Same thing like real human beings can get read information. That's different with, for example, with different expert system where you're developing your software exactly for this task. Using AI, we can go and use another, a little bit different approach. We just create a generic system and we teach this system how to read exactly this document. It can be invoice, again, what else? And explain the system how to, where to get some necessary data, and it will try to get and recognize this data. I mean, for example, printed text, recognize handwritten text, recognize different signs, recognize images, but again, images are a little bit different. But again, we can read the document and processes as a human being. It's called, I called it data recognition example number 1. Again, you can build a lot of different features using these technologies against AI technologies. The fourth list of examples is about data detection, and it will be very interesting. Don't turn off your video. Let's go further. Example number 1, it's from our previous experience, and my own previous experience. Something about detection some guy, for example, in some bank or anyway, whatever. On the railway station, detect some person with some weapon or big baggage or anything else from some video stream. It means that again we should have some such a video analytics system which will on the fly get some photos or video stream, and we have to automatically predict, do we have something inappropriate or forbidden on this image. In this case, again, we have to prepare a list of images, photos. We have to emulate somehow, prepare training data set, create a model, train our model using this data set, and again this model will try to predict for us some strange guys or strange situations, and after that our staff, your staff, can be notified and can take care on this guy or situation. It's example number one. Again, we can invent a lot of sub-examples using this example. As an example number 4, imagine that we have some X-ray equipment and some person who performs a lot of different photos for patients, and of course sometimes it's not easy to detect everything because person can be tired and so on, and we can also create a model which will be trained by some previous data and will predict some diseases. And that's really very important that in this case doctor won't skip or miss any strange, or of course it's not a correct term for this, but won't skip some patients or diseases. Anyway, if we're talking about X-ray, it can build also different applications, like detect some, I don't know, weapon in the stomach for the prisoners. Why not? Again, a lot of applications, but a little bit specific. But the idea is the same, that we have some image and we try to detect some object on this image. Previously explain it to our model. Interesting? Example number 3 is for some producers, manufacturers. When you have some production line and your products go through this production line. Of course, you can have like manual control, but you can also automate this control, like on different places. Some cameras will make photos of your products. It can be chips, it can be, I don't know, even bottles. Why not? And these cameras will make photos and send these photos to our again artificial intelligence system, and this artificial system will try to find the defects of your products, and after that it can be picked from the production line and go to, for example, manual control. It can save a lot of time, it can increase the speed of your production line and so on. Useful example, I think. This is what I wanted to say about object detection, because again, we don't have like a straight border between image classification and object detection. Sometimes all these tasks like related which is each other, and I think this idea is clean and it was helpful for you. This is what I wanted to discuss today. Thank you for watching. On the next episodes we will discuss more technical things. We will go deeper to each of these examples. Of course, we cannot discuss everything in one episode. This is why in the next episode we will go a little bit deeper to machine learning, where we will explain you where is it artificial intelligence model, where is it like neural network, where is it training data, and how this model actually can predict something in the end. Again, thank you for watching. See you on the next episode. Bye.